Hello friends, this is Aaron, and in this video what I'm going to do is showcase a couple of the new items coming to save the world in Fortnite, the Hero Airheart, as well as the new hardware weapon 6 Feet Under. First up, let's talk about the Hero Airheart. She is of the class Constructor. Subclass, if that's important to you, is Sentry Gunner. We could say that her name is really Sentry Gunner Airheart, as that is the typical way that, or the original way that they used to name heroes. She was first seen in Fortnite Save the World item shop on Wednesday, November 28th. She is a legendary constructor card, and it originally cost 2,800 gold. Her name Airheart appears to be a homage to Amelia Earhart, the famous female pilot of the early 20th century. The original Amelia Earhart disappeared on a trip around the world, Save the World Around the World, you know, kind of ties in. She originally disappeared in 1937. I want to give props to Epic for injecting some historical references for those playing this game of a younger generation. Alright, so on to Earhart. She's actually a solid constructor. She plays well, and I can actually see her actually becoming a favorite, especially for those that like to play in groups. Her main skill is a new addition to Save the World, which is a turret called Rosie, and that's an acronym for something, R-O-S-I-E. Rosie levels up in cooldown reduction as well as damage as you upgrade your hero card. I'll showcase the turret here in just a moment. So along with Rosie, Earhart has a BAS skill or base skill. Earhart's base skill will extend up to a total of 5 tiles when she is fully leveled up to 18. That's the last time you pick up any bonuses for the base. And she also picks up electrified floors at skill level 5. And if you're unfamiliar with that, that basically causes damage to husks who dare walk upon your floors. Her third skill is Decoy, which she picks up at level 20, and honestly that is my favorite perk or skill that you can get from the constructor class. Now her decoy doesn't last as long as others with a mere 7 seconds. No additional bonuses to that. If you're using decoy, you will also probably know that you should slot a support that has the periodic damage, which is called Your Move Creep. That makes the decoys far more effective, and this will damage creeps as they're attracted to it over time. Again, the longer your decoy lasts, the more effective that actually becomes. You can find the Your Move Creep support bonus on heroes like Ragnarok. I'll put an image of him up here, as well as the Outlander hero Trail Blaster AC. That is a legendary hero. Ragnarok is a mythic hero, and both of those are Outlanders. And here's a quick video note. There actually may be a couple more heroes with the Your Move Creep bonus. However, of my personal stash, which I have just about every one of them, those are the only 2 that I found. But the game is ever evolving, and of course more can be added in the future. Now let's take a look at Earhart's Rosie turret. While this is a definitely cool new feature, it does have some possible uses and some possible drawbacks for some of you. In the background, I'm going to be playing some video footage from my in-game testing. The first thing I want to point out is, unlike traps, which you can put down on pretty much any game-generated tile, Rosie will only go, or you can only place Rosie down on player-built tiles. You can also only place 1 Rosie at a time. So just in case you were thinking that you could like prep a base, you know, spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes prepping a base with a bunch of these turrets, and then you can just hop from them as they expire or as you expend all the rounds, that isn't possible. However, Rosie does do good damage to both husks and structures, as you can see in this footage. You will become somewhat vulnerable as you take full damage from husk attacks and those AoE attacks like the lobbers and the beehives that leave trails. If you're in it, you're just basically sitting in AoE. Additionally, you should note that by default, there is no exit button on Rosie. You get into it by pressing E, but it doesn't tell you how to get out of it. Fortunately, I do know how you can get out of vehicles in Fortnite. All you have to do is set a vehicle dismount key. I'll put up a screenshot here. I set mine to the right Alt key, and that will let you dismount Rosie. Rosie is a fully automatic, which means all you have to do is hold down your fire key and it will keep firing as long as there's enough ammo and it has not yet overheated. As to overheating, that does happen. You can see a meter on either side or either cannon. It will gradually go up the longer you fire your weapon without taking a break. So what I have found is if you're going to be using Rosie, it does help to periodically stop firing to let the overheat cool down, and then you can fire again. Each Rosie holds up to 150 rounds and is fired in a alternating pattern, left turret, right turret, left turret, right turret, until the ammo is exhausted, in which case Rosie disappears, and that is when your cooldown on your hero starts. By default, Rosie's cooldown is 3 minutes, or 180 seconds. However, Airheart, as you level her up, she picks up a skill called Fish in a Barrel, which reduces the cooldown to 2 minutes, or precisely it's 1 minute 48 seconds. Again, that cooldown does not start until the first turret is gone or you use up all the ammo. All right, so my thoughts on this new turret Rosie with my limited playtime that I put in. It does have some uses, mainly at your main base, you know, protect the Atlas or whatever you're doing. It actually may be fun for groups, especially if you have a high-level Airheart. You may be carrying a friend. You can just, you know, pop up a turret for them to use. And I can imagine that other people will come up with some more optimal ways to use Rosie, like perhaps at the end of a tunnel where, you know, all your husks are going to be coming from one specific direction. I personally like to see Epic tweak this weapon just a little bit. I would like to see a slightly higher round count. 150 is not quite enough. Piercing rounds would also be a really, really good thing. You know, you hit everything in its path, kind of like the Obliterator or the Neon Sniper Rifle. The other thing that I'd like to see added is for the Rosie to have its own health meter, which would allow Husk to attack it instead of the hero. And then that way the Husk could actually destroy it before the rounds are out, and it just kind of gives it more feel or uniqueness. If you have any questions about Rosie or the Hero Airheart, please put them in the description below, and I'll see about getting you some answers with some playtesting. The next thing I want to do is talk about the new melee weapon, 6 Feet Under. This is actually a legendary class hardware weapon, and it costs 1,680 gold. It is found in the item shop under the weekly tab. It is a faster swing speed than a normal sledgehammer. It has perks to tweak that even further. By default, it comes with 2 attack speed perks. It does do a good deal of damage and actually feels much better than the large clunky sledgehammers of old. In terms of melee weapons, I'm really quite impressed with it. I wasn't able to perk it up to max. I have way too many weapons that I'm actually working on, but I did put a little bit into it. So I've enjoyed it. Now, we all have different play styles, and generally I haven't been fond of melee weapons in Save the World, with the exception of the lead sled, but that's for another video altogether. I will say that the shovel feels like a solid melee weapon, providing a good mix of speed, higher damage, and decent impact. The heavy attack is like a quick uppercut followed by a over-the-top smash hit. As you can see here in the video, I one-hit a blaster with it. Pretty cool. I should also add that you can increase the effectiveness of the shovel if you have a hero with the blunt blunt weapon damage bonuses. Some of those heroes are like Ragnarok, Striker AC, Steel Wool Sid, Guardian Bull, Electric Pulse Penny, or Stars and Stripe Penny, to name a few. Just look for a hero that has the blunt damage bonus for your primary squad bonus slot. If you have Ragnarok, he is probably the best because he gives a 12% damage boost as well as impact. All in all, I'll put the 6 feet under the shovel as my second favorite melee weapon, and this thing just came out. My top one, of course, being the lead sled, as I alluded to earlier. The jump attack and the attack speed boost on that thing is way too amazing for dealing with those shielding husks. Still, the shovel has been pretty impressive, especially if you like playing with the melee weapons. I should also point out that this weapon pairs exceptionally well with heroes that are hardware focused, like Steel Wool Sid, who specializes in blunt weapons. Here's an image of him. He gets attack speed boost, critical rate boost, heavy energy attack reduction, and has a special skill called Kinetic Overload, which does amazing when it triggers. Finally, there's another great weapon besides the lead sled that he can wield. Well, there you go. I am actually a longtime creator here on YouTube, but mostly I have done ArcAge videos. However, if you find these type of videos helpful, please leave a comment and like, and I'll keep them coming. I'm actually at a point in Fortnite where I can pretty much get all the new toys as they come out. So for those of you who are just starting out or have less playtime, it is very important for you to prioritize the good stuff versus the bad. So in that regards, I hope you have found this video both helpful and informative. My opinion, the shovel, the 6 feet under, definitely get that. The Hero Airheart, unless you don't have anything else to do with your gold, she's not a solid buy. I'm 50-50 on her. You know, if there's other things that you need, I'd put her on the back burner, but she is kind of cool, and so far she's the only one with that turret skill. So until next time, this is Arid saying, be well.